Up next here we have the wonderful, phenomenal D1 here. He's been waiting very, very patiently. We've been we've been so late here. Thank you all again. Let's welcome in our boy D1. What's going on, bro? What's up?
Whew. Your boys doing good, man. It's been an interesting time, especially as a member of the Black community. Just seeing like all the allies, all the people stepping up. I've been pretty happy. Like I know a lot. I had a lot of people like hitting me up, making sure that I'm okay, and it was insane to see like the amount of support that has come my way from people who were legitimately interested in figuring out how they can be better allies. What have they done that before that might have, that I might have swept under the rug and just like said whatever, about just to not become that friend that always brings up injustices and all types of things like that, right? I don't know if you ever dealt with that
Oh no, yeah,
where
no, I was talking to actually two guests ago. Oh, I sound like a professional right now.
hmm
The whole struggle of when are you being too preachy is the situation,
hmm
and it's like, okay, when am I bringing important issues to the forefront, and when am I being too preachy? And it's like this. The only thing I ever had was the whole like people were unfollowing. Like it was like not even night and day. It was like, okay, I would do anything else, gaming, memes, whatever, and just things about me, all good. It would accumulate. Then I
oh
get political unfollows. I'm like, is it me? But it's funny here because now that you're not you're seeing it, and a lot of other Smash content creators are seeing here too now. It was never us. It was always the people who were like they were entitled. Hey D1, shut up and dribble. Get back to Smash. Why are you talking about all this bad news? I don't care about all this. This doesn't involve me, and or I can afford to not have to deal with it.
yep
And
yep
now we're seeing it front and center.
I was told, by the way, that my volume's low. I don't know if you could boost me a tad
Oh yeah,
bit.
I boosted you up. Chat, is he good now? I gave him a big boost. I noticed it right away here. Is he better
All right,
now?
we're good. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, dude. So like when you were talking about the whole like, hey man, shut up and dribble. Um it's funny, I will admit, as a person, like growing up, I definitely had like issues like not liking my skin, right? Or my hair, just because I was hearing people always talk about how, how you have those friends that always talk about their preferences and such things like that. And like where there are people who will, try to champion for them and say, well, we like what we like, whatever. I can't ever help but feel undesirable whenever you hear people try to talk about, how, oh, I I uh I usually like this type of person, or I usually like that type of person. But then those same type of people, the moment they see a celebrity that is from a group or a race that they usually would not try to give the time of day, all of a sudden they're going gaga over that person, right? And it's just like always funny to me. But as I grew up and got more self confidence, thank mostly I have to thank like Smash for that too, right? Like Smash, when I joined the Smash community, that was definitely one of the communities where I felt like I could escape, where I felt like I belonged, and they helped build me up into the person I am today, to the point where now I'm in a position to inspire others who also wanted to take the mantle and do their own thing. Like looking at one of the great commentators we have here in the Smash scene, like TK Breezy. TK Breezy saw me doing my thing, right? He saw me hit the pavement, and I was commentating 5 years after being a competitor, like around 2010, and he saw like how I was doing it, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I wanna do that too." And it was cool to see him even bring EE on, who EE is also like a superstar of the scene, and I love that we have a whole bunch of us like brothers who are inspiring each other to continue to do great in the community. But like, yeah, man, to go back to the whole "shut up and dribble" quote that you made, I um I used to be one of those people who, whenever it came to politics, whenever it came to hot button subjects, topics rather, you never used to hear me speak unless like it was something from within like Smash. But if it was like something on a world scale or whatever, I never used to speak out. I'll admit, and that's not a good thing, right? It's not like I was afraid of losing followers or anything like that. I just never felt like I was educated enough. Then I realized, oh, if you're not educated enough, educate yourself and understand that you are living in this world. And the moment you finally have a friend or family or yourself who is affected by something like this, then all of a sudden you're going to care. It's probably going to be too late. So, it's good that you understand now and you try to be more empathetic to what's going on with all these people in the world. So I'm happy now that I'm better when it came to that. Now I'm trying to use my platform to leveraging my platform to try to um speak up about these kind of topics. And like I remembered I was on Instagram. I never usually use my Instagram to ever talk about like, these kind of topics before. And I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. So the moment I did it, I was met with like a bunch of people that were upset, right? They decided to like spew vitriol in my direction and talk about how, oh, D1, I can't believe this. So you're saying that, you're supporting businesses and, all these people looting. And I was like, all right, so what we're doing is diverting from the conversation. They're basically throwing a smoke bomb and to try to like cloud my vision. We were on a certain topic. Instead of remaining on topic, they want to change the topic. They always change the topic. And I still am a firm believer. I don't think a lot of people agree with me on this, Trihex, but I'm a firm believer on trying to educate even the people that remain obstinate. Because I feel like I used to be one of those people that never wanted to listen to those kind of things. I used to be one of those people that didn't understand why it was bad to say all lives matter. I will admit that. I never said it out loud, but now I'm admitting it. I used to be one of those people. Because I never educated myself. I used to be one of those people that was like, oh, I don't see color. But then I educated myself, right? I won't say I was a self-hating black person. I'm not Doja Cat. Don't get it twisted. Right now, right? Like I like my hair a lot. I'm surprised, looking at myself back then, I was like, damn, you were a mighty fine looking young dude, man. And all right, still am, right?
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah, no
yeah,
doubt.
like, thank you. Um, now after all the research that I did, I'm happy to be able to like talk to all these people and try to let them know why these topics matter. And I'm gonna keep putting it out there. And if they have an issue, then the door is right there. But if they're willing to stick around and have a conversation that won't result in name calling and all that stuff, let's talk. And hopefully we can finally see eye to eye, right? Like hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from, even if it'll take a while. I will keep trying to put that information out there so that they in turn could be like the me who was dismissive of all these topics and decided, oh, I'm just going to focus on gaming and all this other stuff. I'm going to focus on my job. I'm going to focus on family and friends. Like this doesn't concern them. So why does it concern me? I'm not going to be like that person anymore. And I'm happy that I'm not like that person anymore. It's embarrassing to admit it, but I think we're having candid conversations with everybody, right? And I think
Hmm.
it's about time I break the silence when it comes to things like that. So, um, I'm sorry if I disappointed anybody if they hear that I used to have those kind of thoughts, but I'm better now.
Okay,
I'm better
well,
now.
let's slow down because we're going a mile a minute here. So first thing
My bad.
first.
I just had a
No, no,
had a
no, no. Hey, look,
DJ.
no, you're killing it. You're killing it. So first thing first here is that I think it's mega admirable to be able to admit when you had fault in the past and be able to reflect on that and not have to like double down on preserving, I guess, the ego. That way you don't have to admit you're wrong. Because you could just do the good old the content creator 101, right? Just bury it, don't give it attention, and you can use your existing clout to kind of like minimize that and then bring up another thing and move on with it. You can do that very easily. It costs the cost is free and it's way lower risk, high reward, 100%. No, it takes a humbled ego to be able to publicly admit when there was fault, to really cement the growth and learn from it and move on. So that's great. I love it. I love it. Let's first, because you brought up 2 points I want to I'm particularly interested in picking you further on, if you wouldn't mind, which was first like that you think you consider it not immediately a universal take here that it's worth teaching everyone who you can about BLM, or those who have like a problematic viewpoint, or one that you feel is one worth debating and redefining for them. That way, if they're lost off the trail, they understand the movement and they're an ally rather than like questioning the legitimacy of the movement. Like you made it sound like you want to you're down to teach everyone if they're willing to listen. Is that right?
Yeah, I know there are people out there that are like, no, once a person decides to show pushback, whatever, I'm gonna instantly like block or whatever. Like, it's only when you go down the harassment route, like outright, you're just trying to harass me, then it's like, you could just go. But at the end of the day, if there's a person out there who, probably because of their environment, right, the people, the way they were brought up, the people that are around them, et cetera, how they were educated, if if that's how they were brought up, with the internet and being able to be exposed to so many different ideologies and just like ideas in general, right? One can change, but it takes them, right? It's on them to change. We can't expedite the process of one changing. All we can do is continue to plant the seeds and hope that one day it'll bear fruit.
Absolutely. The whole thing here is like, okay, so I can agree with you. I can agree that we should teach people. I've never been like, Captain Block Button, block and move on with the whole thing. It's never been my vibe either. In fact, the number of people that have blocked here is probably, I haven't actually blocked anyone. I haven't even muted anybody in at least 4 years, to be totally honest here. Like, though I'll be real though, I'm barely in my mentions. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be throwing stuff out there in the wild like all the time, and I ain't even got time to worry about that. I be in the DMs and firing off the drafts, and on the timeline. That's really about it. The mentions is low tier. I'm not even in that thing usually.
It's
So
hard to,
but with that in mind, the thing that I was talking about earlier with the previous guest was the fact that, like, for me, it was that I am down to educate. I'm down to have a conversation, or if it gets escalated into a debate, that typically happens because there's like this kind of like this, like, they want to double down on what they know, but what they know is like biased information, invalid, a particular perspective that paints a light of like reinforcing a problematic worldview, and you have to like contest the legitimacy of their sources and things like that. And it gets into debate whether you wanted to or not ultimately. And the question and the problem for me was that how much time, like when you're saying you're down to have that exchange, it's like over Twitter, over an IG comment log, like how much time do you really have to convert that one person? I found, for example, right, I had a guy, oh man, it was in my Discord, and it wasn't even over race stuff. It was over like, they called me toxic because of something involving how my critique of the U.S. government's response to coronavirus, like the fact that we weren't doing a nationwide lockdown, or we weren't doing adequate measures to actually contain and stop the spread of coronavirus, and I was called toxic. I spent an hour and a half dropping like a 12-point super overkill thorough takedown of all their points because they called me toxic. I took it personally, and I realized, oh my god, I could have been streaming and reaching those who probably care. By the way, when I did this takedown, and that's my chat about it there. If y'all were there for, y'all remember about that. Remember that day I did that like huge like Bible of takedown on that one dude? Never saw him again. Completely ghosted. I did all this effort to take him down because I made it into a debate rather than a conversation, and I feel like I emotionally exhausted myself before I'd even streamed that day. In that point produced less content. I was already pre-tilted when I got into the stream, so I was actually arguing with my chat more. I was 100% responsible for not maintaining my ship and trying to bring others afloat. And because I was overextending myself, that's why I thought, no, there's got to be a better way here. Like, we have a platform. I don't have to like do these one-on-one things that take like, an hour per person. If they're really dense, it's going to be an hour to really, get them on course, because they have some things they're going to disagree over here. Like, we have the platform. I can use the platform, and then I'll go from there. Priority 1, the platform, maximize my time on a per hour basis. Priority 2 is then on an individual, and go from there. That's kind of how I look at it now. you know, my time is worth more than like prioritizing individual mentions time and time again that are problematic, and using the platform instead. So
Exactly.
I do think though you're doing great. If you enjoy that more, me also may enjoy it more than me though. Like if you enjoy teaching others on BLM on a per individual basis, bless up. Or maybe
Now,
I'll
I was gonna say I never exactly said per individual. I was just saying if I have followers, right,
okay.
that have with me putting up that stuff, I'm gonna keep putting that stuff out there until you get it. And if you have an issue, you could go elsewhere and not consume my content. That's where I was getting at. You don't have to super invest yourself in having a battle with one person when you have so many things that you are already dedicated to. We only have so much time in the day. So what I meant was things like what you're doing now, right? There are probably people out there that follow you, Trihex, that love you, and in the moment they see you talk about this, might be upset and decide to go somewhere else, right? But guess what? There also might be people who might not like this, but they're sticking around to learn, to see things from our perspective. And I think this, like when I see, things like that, that's what I would invest in, right? Where I would go on a live stream, or I'll put out a VOD for somebody to watch, or like an Instagram post, Facebook post, whatever, where there people can see my messaging and my continued messaging throughout the days, weeks, or whatever, where I can, if they stick around, they can finally learn. And if not, well, you know what? There was no love lost. I know at least I'm continuing to plant the seeds with my posts that are reaching many. And if those people who at first didn't agree continue to support and follow and keep seeing those posts and finally see something that clicks with them and makes them change their mind, that's a win. Maybe I may not know about the win, but at least I know that if I stop because of people getting upset about me doing what I'm doing, then I'm doing a disservice to the rest of the voices that can't reach that many, that need people to amplify this movement, right? Through the reach that they have, through the social media, or whatever, whatever voice that they have. So that's what I was getting at, right? You don't have to necessarily invest time in a one-on-one battle where there probably might have I mean, you can, but like you said, we only have so much time. And there's some people out there that legitimately are there only to troll. Like they have people who they have all the time in the world trying
Oh
to
yeah,
troll.
dude. They bad faith argue all day long. It's
They
insane.
want they want you to lose all the hair on your head. But you're not gonna mold, Trihex. You're not gonna mold, right?
No, not at all. I got way too much afro for that. No, sir.
Yeah, man.
I go like you right now.
Dude, I put in way too much effort to get my hair too, man, and I love it. So yeah, at the end of the day, dude, we're gonna continue to do what we can to support the movement, and I'm just like happy that a lot of people who at first I didn't know were allies are like coming out in droves. Even like homies even outside of gaming that I hang out with in LA are just dropping posts left and right showing their allyship, and they were even like coming back and telling me how they liked how I was speaking up about my distaste in the increase in just like vocal racism towards members of the Asian community, right? When it came to COVID, I put out like a YouTube video I talked about, and they're like, dude, I can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And there were a bunch of people that try to battle me on Twitter, whatever. And they super appreciated me doing that. And they in turn also were like, we're super like supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. At least, I don't know if it was like a direct result, but it was cool to see like Asians coming through, in droves, like backing up the blacks in my experience.
No, it's awesome. I'm glad to see that. I'm not even out the house. I don't even get out the house. I don't even know what's going on there. So that's cool to hear about actually. So and also and you're right. I should have clarified earlier. I'm sorry. I may have misinterpreted your point as one-on-one because I have a convo I had earlier in the special today. So thanks for elaborating on that. And yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah, the platform and then individuals amongst your followers. Yeah, because that's most certainly what I should have did. Though I'm getting better at it now. Thanks for the elaboration. Point number 2 that you made earlier when you were just firing off in the intro here was that there is this struggle, right? And this is something I think me and you have actually had a heart to heart about. I recall this. I actually recall, if I can keep 100 right now, me and you, homie to homie, on the radar, but low key off the radar here. We had a conversation at it was at a party at a Bud Light lounge of some sort, and we were talking about like how me and you we aim to make good content. We don't aim to make good content for a black person or good black content. It is excellent content by a black person, but we don't aim. But me and you, I remember we had a conversation about like, this idea that like, do we want to be known for being a black content creator, if that makes sense? And it's honestly, and there's not really a correct answer. It's one, a matter of perspective, because like I feel like other people don't go through it quite as like cementfully in USA particularly, where it's like, yeah, I'm a good content creator, but my race is not as relevant or whatever. And for us, it's kind of like this identity where like, do you want to be known for being a black content creator, or do you want your content to be able to stand independent of the crutch of being black? Right. Okay. So we had that convo in the past here, and I wonder if like and forgive me if it's a heavy question here, but it was one you kind of you brought up earlier, so I was like, okay, do you want to dig into that further here? Do you find that's something you still struggle with now, or do you find you found clarity since then? Like, or is not really an answer you find at all in that regard?
I'm trying to remember when we had that conversation, what was my answer? And I think my answer, if I'm not mistaken, was I don't want to merely be seen as a black insert, whatever I specialize in here, correct? Was that what I said? Where I wanted to only be seen, respected on my own merit? Like, when it came to commentary for Smash Brothers, nobody ever really went, D1 is like one of the best black commentators in Smash Brothers. I always got, you're one of the best commentators. You're one of my favorite commentators. You're one of my favorite Melee commentators, one of my favorite Ultimate commentators, or one of my favorite Smash commentators in general. Or some people may even think I'm the best, right? When it comes to people saying, "Hey, I think you're a great black insert here," I will take pride if you see me as a great representative of my race, but I will also be happy if you also, put me on high for whatever it is that I worked hard to accomplish. Like a lot of the times, whenever I do things, I just do it out of love and because I'm enthusiastic about it. But if ever I get the sense that there's affirmative action afoot, I really, 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 really want to get an opportunity only because I deserve it. I never want to feel like I was just literally shoved in, because they needed to,
Diversity
like,
quota,
yeah, quota. That makes me feel like, damn, I whenever I know it's good to have representation,
Mm-hmm.
but as a human being that always likes to prioritize giving somebody an opportunity because they're good at it, I'd rather you choose somebody who's good regardless of the way they look, in my opinion. But I do think representation is also good. So if you're gonna pick people, and you want to make sure that there are people up there, um, and that there are people worldwide that are watching, okay, if you're gonna pick people, make sure that the people you're picking are right for the job and not just like, oh, I'm gonna pick this guy even though he probably doesn't know diddly squat about this subject. We still need to fill that quota, so let's bring him on. And then they go on and they do a piss poor job, and it's like, whoa, why did they even bring him on? Like, because then that's just a bad representation for the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
That can like identify with that person's racial identity. Is that correct? Did I say that right? No.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
dude. Yeah.
yeah.
So if I can hear on in that regard here, I can recall more of that conversation we had way back when. I remember what year that was, by the way. It's kind of funny. I remember where we were, remember how it looked, but I don't remember when that was. If we were we in Atlanta at like a convention, or were we like somewhere else? I don't know. It's been wild. We've done a lot of travel. I mean, you've way out traveled me, because you're Mr. I don't know, Mr. Worldwide is what I would call you at this point here. But good lord. But the thing I remember is like we both. The thing I found we both were prideful for was that we never exploited our race. That was the whole thing there. I never made it like I'm the black speedrunner, or you're the black commentator, or you're like the ratchet commentator. No, you dude, the utmost professionalism. D1, he's there, he's on time, he's punctual, he's formal, he's relatable, he's funny, he's insightful. I can throw the whole thesaurus at you when it comes to like what you are. Like when let me tell you, okay, let me give you a moment here, okay? I mean this like full stop right now, okay?
Oh, question, Travis.
Yeah, what's up? What's good?
xD1x for my.
Oh, you're right. Ooh, I forgot that was a Twitch link. Hey, all right. You are absolutely right. xD1x, boys. Actually, I'm gonna take a second here. This is actually really important, boys. Let's go sub only for a second here. Listen. If y'all didn't already, if y'all are enjoying the content here, let me remind you real quick here that our boy is a. He didn't cover the intros because he was firing off here. But in the intro, he should have told y'all my boy is now officially a full-time content creator. Is that correct? And so you can catch all that excellent content over at xD1x. There we go. So yeah, go over there and check him out here. But we'll be talking more about that in a second here. My man came in with the hot topics. I gotta follow up right now. So thank you again, y'all. Thank you again, mods. All right. So
I was gonna say I apologize for not even introducing. I felt like you introduced me already, so I was like,
no, dude. I mean, at the same time though, I may have introduced you, but the objective here is to normalize blackness. So I'm hoping I've reached a new audience right now who want to know more about what it's like to be black. That way we can build that empathy bridge and kind of bring them over to, if they're not quite understanding what BLM is about or what being black in America means, we can start that bridge repair or start that bridge construction today, right now. So obviously though, you are very, very known, but I just for that, even for that 1%, it makes them feel a little more welcome, you know, because it's awesome over here. So oh man, what was I talking about again? It was the what we were proud of in that conversation we had way back when in that Bud Light Lounge was the fact that we never exploited our race for identity. Was the whole thing there. I was never the black speedrunner, you were never the black commentator. We were both excellent content creators, in your case commentator / content producer, just happened black. And that felt good. And that felt good because it's like our work ethic stood on its own merit, and it makes you feel prideful. It makes you go to sleep happy. It makes you wake up excited to make more of it and do more of it. You know? Oh, okay. I remember what I was gonna say now. What I was gonna say here is that, like, real talk here. Okay, I want you to know here, when a big Smash tournament happens on Twitch, and I'm there, you know, grand final Sunday, you got 40K viewers or more. You know, those chats are hot garbage. Nothing new right there. But let me tell you how happy they are if they find out that D1's commentating grand final set, bro. It is all love, and that's your work ethic showing right there. Not because you're the cool commentator, because you're black or anything like that. No. Your work ethic sells that. They know they're gonna get a consistent, bankable, immersive commentary experience that doesn't that makes the escalation of the content that much more. Real talk here. Real talk, no cap.
Don't do this to me, man. I'm on camera, dude.
Dog, I mean, what you want me to? I'm not fluffing you up. I'm just telling you what the facts are. The Twitch chat, the 40K chat full of monsters. They're the ones like, oh, Pogman's D1 on the grand final set. Let's go, dude. Yeah, that's them. That's them, dude. For you. So yeah, fuck yeah. Embrace that, dude. That's you right now.
Right.
Awesome. So
that's all. I just felt it was there was like an overwhelming amount of good vibes to the point where I just had to do the whole ostrich head and the whole thing. I was just like, I can't take it, man. It's just so much love coming this way. So thank you, man.
Absolutely. And thank you, Chad, for reminding him at this point as well here. Yeah, dude. It's always a good time. Always a good time. Geez, okay. So yeah, known for your blackness or known for your black excellence. It's a complicated question. It's a little bit it's fluid. And yeah, I remember we had that convo and it was a good one because it's something we're still. I don't know if the question ever really goes away, as we continue on now, because like I don't think neither me nor you ever perceived that we would get this far. You think back to like, I don't know, I'll just think back to like Apex 2014, right? Like here we are, 6 years later. I don't think any of this would have been crazy here. So it's like it's just so hard to think about where that goes from here, and then how relevant our blackness will be or won't be. But I'm very happy that our blackness will allow us to use our platforms to build these bridges, right?
Yeah. Yep. One thing that really helped me out for other members, like other POCs in the chat, persons of color in the chat, I never tried to make excuses for my failures. You know, like I know there can be times where maybe you may not get an opportunity because of your skin color, but I never let that be the stopping point, right? Like if ever that was an issue, I didn't try to entertain that. I'd be like, all right, I didn't get the opportunity. I'm gonna work harder. I'm gonna keep going at it until I get my opportunity. And if there's any of you guys out there who ever feel discouraged because you probably didn't get an opportunity and you feel like you won't make it because of your background, right? The way you speak, the way you look, which you did not even choose, right? You were brought into the world the way you are, and people are just going to have to deal with it. And if they're not going to give you a chance, you're going to keep working your ass off till you get there. And when you get there, watch all those people that didn't want to give you a chance. They're going to come back, they're going to act like they were your best friend, they're going to realize they missed out. Even that, it's just crazy how it's like Mike Jones said, right? Back then didn't want me, now I'm all on me. At the end of the day, you keep working on you because you are special and you do deserve a chance. And I know you guys will all make it. Don't ever feel like because you were born the way you are that you were dealt the short end of a stick, that you will never find success, that you're not going to be able to, have the life that you want to live because of uh, what may be perceived as being dealt a bad card. You weren't dealt a bad card. You just got to keep on going. And success, I always tell people whenever it comes to my stream, success doesn't have a schedule, right? I never ever thought of when I would get those opportunities to commentate at a Pokemon event, Nintendo event, do an Evo, and keep headlining a bunch of these like big time events for Smash. I just said, hey, I really like video games. I'm gonna keep playing video games. My parents think I'm addicted, but I'm gonna keep playing. Wow, there's a competitive scene for Soul Calibur. I want to get into that. Oh, but yeah, I had the GameCube version. Oh, but the
Yeah.
competitive scene,
Link main.
you were like, man,
No, I'm saying maybe you because it was on GameCube.
no. I was a Killer Main. Anyway, moving on. So the competitive scene, they played on PS2. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play on PS2. And that was the first time I finally got a Sony system. Trihex, crazy enough. That I finally got a Sony system because of the competitive scene. And I attended an event. I got blown back by this dude who had a girl hanging off of his shoulder. He was like the best player there, got first place. First round match was against the guy that got first place. It was really fun though. I had a good time at that tournament, but it was super far. Decided to join the melee scene after I saw evidence of a Smash scene in my region. Like I saw Ken, I saw Isaiah, I saw Captain Jack, all those like amazing players, and I joined. I went to my first tournament in February, and I just saw all those smashers in like a card game shop. It was pretty big, and they were popping off, right? It felt like I was in a school cafeteria, but they just had mad TVs and people talking crap to each other and having a good time. And I played, I got washed. I thought I was godlike. I was trash, but I was so motivated to want to learn. And within like a year, within a year, I was able to become like top 10 ranked in my region in New York City for Melee. In 2006, 2007, same thing for Brawl. I was power ranked as well in the top 10 rank. And um, yeah, from there, dude, it was fun being part of the scene. But I remember I just slowly moved over to Brawl. And when I moved over to Brawl, I mean, I moved out of Brawl in 2009. I slowly started losing love for the game, probably because of Meta Knight. Honestly, I just did not like him, so I left and like left competitive and started to find other games like Blaze Blue, Street Fighter 4. I just had to find something. Even the Naruto GNT like community, right? They were playing Naruto Clash of Ninja Revolution 3 competitively. I hopped onto that and started, like, I started playing in that scene, and out the gate, my first ever tournament for that, I got second place, and everybody was shocked. They're like, "Who is this guy?" Mind you, they didn't know I had a friend in high school who used to body me in GNT4 for like 2 3 years. I was trash, and then I finally figured out how to play thanks to me losing to this guy in high school. And from there, when I went to a tournament, seeing all those strategies that my friend would use when he was really good with all the characters in the game, I was like, these guys are trash. I could actually beat them, except that one guy who beat me in the grand finals, and he reset the bracket and beat me. I was so salty because I almost swept the entire tournament for my first tournament. In any event, from there, like while I was still like playing like Blaze Blue, playing Street Fighter and all that stuff, I started to host my own events. And while I was hosting my own events in New York City, because I found a venue since we lost our original venue, Web2 Zone, rest in peace. I found a venue called Gamepad in Brooklyn, New York, and I hosted the Sudden Death series for Melee and TNA for Brawl. TNA is short for trips and air dodges. That's how salty I was about Brawl. I hated the air dodge system, and I did not like the trips. I was like, I'm just gonna call
Mm.
this, and nobody's ever gonna know what it means unless they ask. Lol. But yeah. So like I while I was hosting those events, I would have homies from like the community, New York City community, bring CRTs, bring systems, and Prague was cool enough to even bring like a laptop, and it was super dope. Like we were able to record on his laptop, and at the same time, we could also like run the bracket. So we ran the bracket and did the streaming on the same laptop. And while we did that, there'd be times where we would just talk over the matches. I was in the mode, right, where I just thought it's a bunch of homies hanging out, we're out here chilling, and then out of nowhere, bro, um, like, wait, testing, am I in line?
I know you're,
Okay, I'm
you're good. You're 100% good. I
second.
see
I thought
you.
I got.
You look
Yeah,
great. You
yes.
sound great.
Oh, cool. Thank you. So, out of nowhere, I started seeing people online just like pop off and talk about us. But I never thought anything of it, bro. I was just like, oh, they probably thought the match was really cool or they had fun listening to us. And that's dope. Never thought much of it. And I kept doing that for years. They're just like, yeah, feel free to hop on a mic. And I just kept doing that until Evo 2013. By the way, shout out to the Apex series, Apex 2010 to 2013, where like those events helped like bring a lot of eyes to Smash. That was basically like our Evo,
Yeah. Major context, or you're not wrong there. Apex was essentially the what, the genesis, the now genesis of Melee at the
Yep,
time.
yep. Like Apex's goal was to have a tournament that could have not only all the Smash games, but also like they wanted to incorporate fighting games as well. That was the vision because I was a CMO for Apex, and at the same time, I was also their caster. And behind the scenes, they realized all this divide between Melee and Brawl. Right? Brawl thought, "Oh, you're trying to kill Melee," and vice versa. Melee,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, Melee thought, yeah. You know what I mean. Basically, there was a divide. Melee thought Brawl was trying to kill them, and Brawl was just trying to. To be honest, the Brawl players were just trying to play their game, and a lot of them were young too. So it was weird to see older Melee crowd trying to dog, like people from Brawl who are like younger. It's like, come on, we should probably be like a better example, if anything. But both sides at times were a little toxic to each other. So I'm not gonna act like everybody was innocent. And at the end of the day, I feel like like when I was part of Apex, it was so cool to see an initiative to try to bring the entire community together. And I was so happy that, seeing all the casters there, and on the topic of just like, black commentators, black content creators, etc. I didn't even realize it, but looking at all the casters there, it was myself, Prague, Dogi Samich, TK, I think EE Pierce. Then they had like Twin One, Twin A. I don't like basically all of us there were just like basically members of POCs right there, right?
Yeah.
Well, but I'd never seen it that way. I just saw we're all commentators. We're all here to hype up the event, to like give people history and the like. And the cool thing about the Smash community and at that time, even though we were toxic and we used certain words back then that you probably can't use nowadays. If you use it on Twitch, you about to get struck. Like
Bang bang.
I never had people come up to me in the community while coming up, even in 2000, from 2005 till now, like ever try to treat me like I didn't belong. And they never singled me out as a black whatever, right? They just said, hey, just want to say you're really good inspiration for the community, et cetera, et cetera. It's only when I speak to like older people who aren't necessarily part of the community, like let's say there's like a black mother, father, uncle, aunt, grandmother to somebody, right? Like they come to the event with their kid, and they're like, I just really want to tell you, you're setting such a good example for the black
Oh.
brother. And I'm like, that's the only time that I'm reminded, Trihex, that I'm black. When it comes as a black commentator,
Right.
right? Or inspiration. I usually try to be a person who can inspire many different people in the community to do good. But then when I hear that I'm inspiring people who can look at me and say, I can relate to that guy, I'm like, damn, that's another responsibility that I need to be more aware of. And that's why it's important for us to be here together today.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. You are, man. Thank you for sharing all of that. That was beautiful. So continuing on, D1 here. Okay, I have a topic that's unique to you. We're kind of going off of like my template here because you're firing off right now. You, sir, you have lived in New York, right?
Yes.
Right. And you had to, and then you've lived in California. So you've been on East Coast and you've been on West Coast. Can you
California.
do you want to would you love to tell us about what's it like? Do you find that like being black in either of those locations was like a different experience? Or was it like all the same experience? Or was there anything unique to one versus the other? Or is it kind of like a little bit too abstract to say because it was like, the time of your life at each point?
In my experience living in New York City, I've definitely encountered more like not so pleasant experiences as a black person than living in California. But then again, that's probably because I lived in New York City more. So there's just more opportunities to run into not so pleasant experiences. I could relate some of them. I remembered attending my first ever Smash Fest in what part of, I think it might have been in Brooklyn, not Staten Island. It was somewhere in Brooklyn in a predominantly white neighborhood for sure. One of my friends, he went by Dark Bulb, and he invited myself and Dyer over to train in Melee. This was my first ever training session with like people after my first tournament. I was like, damn, I got bodied, and I made some cool friends at this event. Let me start coming out of my let me start coming out of my not my cage, but my house, and basically see if I can start training. I want to get better. And while I was waiting outside of my friend's house to get indoors, I rang the bell, and somebody just drove by and yelled the N word with the hard R there, and they yelled it and they laughed. And when I heard it, um at first I was disturbed, but then I was just like, well, I mean, he drove off after he said it, so he's a punk. Who cares? Like, it's not okay that he said it, but I mean, like, he drove off and he was in his car. He can't say it to my face, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of made me like when I mulled that over, I went from being annoyed to being like, he's a coward, whatever. And the other time that I've ever dealt with a weird situation was I've had like myself and four other black friends in a car with me, and we're driving from my house all the way to, I used to live in Canarsie. And I drove all the way, I drove like a couple blocks for like how many blocks? Like I was driving probably like 40, 50 plus blocks through just through the neighborhood of
Hashtag
Brooklyn.
Black Lives
And
Matter.
as I was just about to try to pull into a McDonald's with the homies, a drive-through McDonald's on our way to, I think we were on our way to GameStop. We were on our way to a GameStop, yeah. And as I'm driving there, I think we were gonna like buy some games, whatever. A cop pulls us over. So a cop pulls us over, and all the friends that were with me, we were all raised in a super religious household, right?
Oh,
I don't know if you guys ever knew, but I've told a couple people this, like my upbringing, parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. So all my friends were Jehovah's Witnesses in the car, and we're all driving in the car, whatever. And as we're all driving in the car, I get pulled over, and I'm like, we all definitely have seatbelt on, like nobody's speeding. What's happening? So I pull over, whatever, and the cop comes by. I roll down my window, whatever, to listen to him. I give him my information. He's like trying to, he's like, "Do you smell that?" And I'm like, "Smell what?" And it smelled like weed. But the weird thing was, I was like, "That's not coming from here." So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and basically I just sat there, stood my ground with my friends. We're like, yeah, like we literally could all roll down the windows. There's nothing in here. And then I know I smelled weed for sure. The cop tried to press me about something. We're like, we're just gonna go buy video games at GameStop. We're just gonna buy McDonald's. I have my indicator on. Nothing crazy. Like we're cool. Like there's nothing bad happening here. And he's like, all right, you guys have a bad day. And he walked away, and I saw him throw like weed and on the floor, and he stepped on it in my rearview mirror, and I couldn't believe it, bro.
wow.
Couldn't believe it. I was like, did he really try? Did he really try that? Like,
Wow.
got in trouble. I could have legitimately gotten in trouble. My mom probably would have flipped. Obviously, like people would probably presume, oh, like,
The
yeah,
cop
you're,
wouldn't lie.
yeah, I know, I like. Here's the thing, right? Even though I know I have a good relationship with my parents, if I were to just have a record, right? That would be so bad, Trihex. People always do background checks, and especially when it comes to like people of color, right? So if they're gonna hire you, they're gonna be like, "Oh, let me double check if he has a record," And so like when it came to that, I was just like freaking out, heart pounding out of my chest, bro. But thankfully, nothing happened. I still have no record to this day. Clean, bro. Super clean, pristine record. I went, got my McDonald's, went to GameStop. I don't even remember what game we were trying to get that day because it was just like a whole bunch of us. But we were just riding out. We always just drive, And the second time I've ever had an issue with a cop too was, I think, I'm trying to remember. Okay, this time, so this one story, I definitely like took my phone and barely lifted it up, and I got pulled over. I'll hold that L. I'll hold that L. Look at your phone while you're driving. I thought I was slick, but I
Mhm.
was like, I'm gonna barely lift my phone a little bit while driving, and then I got caught. So whatever, dude. Like,
Wait. This
I'll
happened. This was in New York.
huh?
This was in New York that happened. The phone.
This was in New York. You can't do that because you could potentially kill somebody, right? And
Right.
you could kill yourself. You're endangering you're basically endangering society. So I'm gonna hold that one. I'll take that ticket. I'll take that ticket. Um, like
Wow.
you guys could hear me talk about the good things, but I'm also gonna expose myself to the bad things that I've done too. Because that's just, this is the kind of conversation that should be had. I'm not trying to distract from the main conversation we're having, but I'm not gonna try to act like I was an angel.
No,
So
no doubt. No. So actually, I don't want to like, insert comedy into your serious story. But when you said clean record, I'm like, bro, my record ain't clean, dude. I got like 7 speeding tickets. It's been pretty bad for me over the last like 10 plus years. But now I know that 7 tickets sounds really, really bad. But do know, again, I lived in small town Louisiana where the cops are extra dickish, and they're big sticklers too. They hit you really, really hard. Like I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a speed trap, but like they literally do that. They hide. They make sure to get you. Now, sure, you shouldn't be speeding, but we're talking like doing 45 in the 40, and you get popped, and it's like, yeah, here you go, here's your ticket. So yeah, like yeah, the small, it's literally the small town quota tickets. Like the police department and the courthouses are all funded, I suppose, by some kind of ticket quota. So they gotta like get tickets out hardcore because it's like probably funding over half of the PD at that point. Yeah, they got nothing better to do. It's trash. It's annoying as hell. So
Yeah, pretty whack.
now,
Yeah, I'm not a speedster like you, dude. I mean, you are a speed runner, so of course. But yeah, in my case, I feel like there's one more experience that escapes me, but I don't think it's as crazy as the marijuana story, right? Like that was
hit me.
out because I was just like, something smells, it smells really weird. And the cop tried to act like, yo, do you smell that? And I'm like, like this is definitely not me. You're not gonna catch me today. But yeah, other than that, I feel like New York City has been pretty pleasant. I'm the type that just like for the most part like stays indoors. Like if ever I think there might have been like one time, maybe no one time where a person came up to me and they tried to ask me a question, like a cop tried to ask me a question to see if maybe I fit the description of something, like, hey, were you on this street or etc. And I was like, no. Okay, never mind. And then I was just like, whoa, that's scary. And I just kept it moving. I was like, I don't know why he asked that. I don't know if he was trying to track movements of somebody or if he heard a story about somebody who did something on another street. But thankfully he let me go and I didn't get like arrested or anything like that. So I think I'm one of those that probably was more on the fortunate side of things. I don't really have too many crazy stories. I'm not one that likes to hang outside as much as some other people do. And what for those who don't hang out outside as much and got caught at the right time, that's super unfortunate for them, that's why we're here again. We're here speaking. But in my case, I think like my mom was definitely trying to make sure that I don't get caught outside in some like crazy nonsense.
Have your parents ever had to give you the talk about being black, and if a cop pulls you over or anything like that? Is that a thing you ever had to deal with here? Like the whole like de-escalation conversation. If you get pulled over, have your hands visible. If you see a cop around, take your hoodie off. Have you ever had to have a convo like that before, like a preemptive one, particularly maybe in New York or whatever, or not really?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I never. No, no. I think my parents just told me to stay out of trouble, right? And I literally went to school. After going to school, I would come back home or I'd go to a friend's house to play video games. Then I'll just take the bus straight home from there. And I never liked to stay outside too much because I felt like, it was wild out there, right? And I wanted to limit the amount of time that I was hanging around outside dilly dallying until I was old enough, I feel, to be able to just actually hang outside. But by then, I was self taught just by other people and friends when it came to things like that. So, friends, it was more friends than my parents. I never had that conversation with parents. Did you?
Actually, no, not I learned. Let me think back here. Okay, so the whole thing is like, for me, I'm trying to think back here now. That conversation didn't happen for me, probably because I lacked a father figure in my life. My dad was not in my life at all. My parents divorced when I was 10. My parents argued every night when I was like 8 years old until 10. So by the time the divorce came, it was like, okay, this needs to happen because I thought them fighting and throwing shit every night was normal. But I'll say that for a different topic though altogether here. Single parent household. Mom was trying to do her best here, but she was busy working. I had no father figure. I had no one to really go to for all the confusion of going through all this pressure of like middle school and high school because I was black and I was the only black kid playing Yu-Gi-Oh and into anime, and I felt like I was being outed really hardcore for my race because I was the one who was not acting black enough, and it made me feel very low about myself and my self-worth, and I didn't feel like I fit in, and it was like this weird thing where I felt like I enjoyed what I enjoyed, but I wasn't being black enough. So I got called White Mike in high school, and that shit sucked. And there was a bunch of other things here. So I had a lot going on throughout puberty, and it really sucked. And the whole race thing didn't help either. So I didn't have that talk. with anyone in particular, but I don't think I had the resource to have that talk be had.
Bro, if if the curve was flattened and you were in the same vicinity as me, bro, I'd give you a hug right now, man. 'Cause
No.
all that stuff right there, I super related to, and it's also like one of the reasons why back then growing up, there was a point where like Tyler the Creator and Odd Future, when they were blowing up and stuff, I related to them. I remember there was this one song I heard from like Earl Sweatshirt where it was like, too black for the white kids, too white for the blacks. When I heard that, I was like, yo, super relatable. I used to work at Domino's Pizza from like 2004 to 2008 as a young kid, right, in college. And when I was doing that, bro, like I was in East New York and I was surrounded by a lot of POC there. They would use all types of slang and stuff, and the way I spoke was way too proper for them. It was to the point where they're like, "Yo, you sound mad white when you're talking." So I was like, "All right, I guess I'll try to assimilate, right, and learn." Um, okay. I'll try to assimilate and learn some of the jargon, some of the words that they use, because apparently I sound too educated. Like, I'm sorry, my parents raised me the way I am, right? Like, I love video games, I love to learn, and I loved being that kid that would just raise his hand in class. They would always be like, "All right, so who wants to read this next passage? Yada yada. Who wants to read this chapter?" Oh, it looks like D1's hand is raised again. And then they're like, "Yeah, I love when D1 reads. He sounds like he should be on like National Geographic or one of those shows where they have a narrator or whatever." And I never, ever quite listened whenever they said that. To me, I was just like, "Ha ha, these guys are crazy," you know? But yeah, lo and behold, right? Look where we're at now. Yeah, as far as like as far as that conversation is concerned, when it came to the whole just like not feeling like you belong anywhere, particularly because of you having a certain color, but then you sound way too educated for them. Like that was so weird. So I started to try to like incorporate slang and all of that stuff in my speak to try to fit in, but I didn't think I sounded natural doing it. It was definitely a weird transition for me, but at some point I knew how to have different versions of myself depending on who I'm hanging out with. Like if I'm hanging out with people who just like me the way I am and I could be myself, I'll be like that, right? My friends basically. But then if I'm at work and I'm dealing with people at work that are like, yo, Steve Urkel, why do you sound like this? Because I used to wear glasses a lot too. Steve Urkel, why you sound so smart? Why do you dress like that? Why your socks showing? Like I didn't know any of that. Like sometimes I had high waters. Sometimes my pants went a little bit above my ankles. My bad. My parents gave me that, yo. My parents gave me that. I have long legs. But at the end of the day,
Dude,
at the end of the day, dude,
bro, you're bringing me back because you reminded me now that I used to get called tight ass. Dude, I used to get, look, you ready for this shit? When I was a waiter at the restaurant,
yeah,
there was a point where I was the only person who didn't smoke or drink. Like everyone else smoked and like cigarettes. Like the back dock for smoke breaks. I hated this toxic double standard where like if you're addicted to nicotine, you get, everyone respects the smoke break. But if you don't smoke, oh, what are you doing hanging around? You need to get to work. And it's like, well, I mean, dude, 3 of them are on the back dock right now smoking away. I gotta maintain all their bullshit. Like what's all this crap right here? And it just this dumb toxic double standard. But regardless though, everyone smoked and drank, and I was the only one who was like a straight edge, which is like such a hard way to say I don't indulge in these things. I don't have to. And some of them were like, "Damn, bro, man, you don't smoke or drink, bro, man, that shit wild, bro." I was like, because I don't want to spend money. Like it's on a, not even on a personal principle level, just on an economic optimization. Like y'all will sit here and grind to make like $80 a night, and then y'all go piss away 60 of it at the club. Like, are you not aware how you ever accumulate enough resources to ever get ahead in life if you're spending 3/4 of your money you make daily on escapism? Like it didn't really add up to me. I'd rather buy games. I'd rather play my games. I'd rather enjoy my time off here. Like I didn't relate to their mindset at all here. But they made it a race thing where it was like, yeah, man, yeah, bro, White Mike, man, he's a tight ass, bro. It's just like I don't relate. I don't even get it.
yeah,
So,
dude. Sheesh.
Ugh.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
bring me back for a second. I was thinking about that. I was like, ugh.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, dude. I remembered for many years, bro. I never like indulged in any of those things. I still don't like smoking's definitely not my thing at all.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think there was one point where I started just attending more industry events where they would have like open bar, whatever. And like I won't go crazy or anything like that in the beginning. Actually, wait, the first time I actually really imbibed, bro. I was with my homie Bum. Shout out to Bum 163. And we were at the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 launch party. And at that launch party, they had like a big picture of Long Island Iced Tea. I never ever like tried it before. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll try a little bit of it because I just regarded it as juice. But and then I had one too many. And then I woke up in bed and my mom was standing over me and upset. So I was like, yep. Yep, that's a lesson learned. That's a lesson learned. Woke up, I immediately scanned Facebook. There were people that there was one guy who took pictures of me and I was looking like a mess. And I was like, this is what happens. Got it. Lesson learned indeed. So yeah, yeah. I told him, could you delete those please? Because that's pretty embarrassing. You know, I don't wanna make the mom look bad, or the dad either. But yeah, at the end of the day, just like you said, right? Those things can definitely take away a lot of your money. Like you could go to a liquor store and buy like spend tons of money on liquor or whatever. And just like you said, you know, if especially if you don't do it in moderation, it can lead to one harming their body at what cost, right? Their hard-earned cash. So you do have to be careful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but I will say though, okay, I didn't mean to come off as like holier than thou in any way here, because social drinking. I mean, okay, you know what it is here. Okay, this is like a super random topic, but it's me and you right now, so we're chilling here. Like, I didn't enjoy going out. Like, I didn't get like normie bars and like the whole going out experience. I didn't get it. I was like, the whole thing here to me is like you're around people you don't really know that well, and you got to be like, you got to have a buzz and or be damn near drunk to really like have it be loose enough to like want to just like do stuff with random strangers. I feel that it's impulsive at that time. Like, I'm describing it like as if I'm an alien trapped on Earth or whatever. But like that's what it felt like to me. But once I was at TwitchCon 2015, once I was at the E3 mixer, once I was at the Discord mixer party, but the pregame before TwitchCon, I was like, oh. Man, when you're around the homies, when I'm around like, D1 and the squad, when I'm around like all the Twitch people and all that, when I'm around the people that I love being around, that I love watching on my own free time here, it's like, oh, this is what it feels like. This is what normie bars are like for them, but I found my element now. So when I'm out there, dude, yeah, I social drink. No doubt. Like I'm in
yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly.
I'm getting
Exactly.
litty. So
By the way, no hate to anybody who uses any platform. I have like homies on Mixer, I have homies on YouTube gaming, Facebook gaming, etc. But yeah, I know you weren't talking about Mixer. You were just talking about
oh no,
mixers in
I'm sorry,
general.
yeah, Chad, I was talking about the actual like yeah.
Yeah, speak silly. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right? If as long as we're just like hanging out and kicking back with the homies, it's a good time. But yeah, speaking of those mixers, if any of you guys ever go to a mixer or an industry party where you run into myself, Trihex, TK, Bam, I am Brandon TV, etc. Like even my boy Fats will be out there and will be turning up so hard. Like usually a lot of those parties, you go there, and at first you'll see people, they're just chilling, they're sipping, maybe there's one or two people on the dance floor. When we come through, like the Smash community, we come in droves, bro. And we hit the dance floor, we start dancing, we go crazy, and everybody's like, man, these guys are a good time. And they all come through and they dance along with us. And I love the fact that when they see that we bring the party, they come along to bring the party to multiply the hype, right? They're like, let's join in. And it's so cool to see in gaming how much people are willing to just like uplift each other. Of course, there's still more that needs to be done, but I do like that in times where we're all partying, you don't see people try to go like, oh, I'm not gonna hang with this person or that person because of whatever race they are. You see people, everyone mixing and having a good time, sharing good experiences, and they'll even see you in the hallway the next morning, like, yo, you feeling good? You look like you had one too many last night. Yeah, yeah, I'm good. No hangovers. Yo, no, yo, I'm dying over here. Yo, have a good Twitch though. Yeah, you too. And it's so cool to see in the streaming community how many of us try our best to like uplift each other. And I like how even recently Dr. Lupo, he made like a statement how he was like, all right, um I want to get to know more content creators of color, like, feel free to tag your favorites, et cetera, et cetera. It's really cool to see everybody is like, all right, maybe I didn't do too good of a job when it came to making more friends in different communities, right? And I'll be better this time around, right? So it's super cool to see everybody's just trying to reach out, make new friends and all that stuff. And yeah, I do like this change. There's definitely change happening. Some people are probably thinking, no, things aren't happening. This is all a waste. No, things are definitely happening because more people are talking. The young people are getting involved, bro. They have people that I know that are talking to their parents who are usually racist, and they're like, yo, I'm about to send you a post about Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna have a translation underneath, and you're gonna read it. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, people are actually getting activated. Let's go, young people, because you guys are the generation. At some point, all the people that are trying to hold us back with whatever archaic views that they have on how things need to be in the world, I'm not trying to wish for them to not exist anymore, but inevitably, we're like, even myself, I'm not going to be around anymore, right? And it's going to be on the new generation that has been exposed to all these ideas that they're seeing on the internet that make them realize how we need to be more accepting of each other. Um, it's definitely going to be a different, the world's going to be a different place. I don't think it's going to be perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're still going to have people who will probably oppose, certain things, but I'm happier to see, like, even in the case of like Japan, right, where a lot of people say, oh, when I go to Japan, I feel like when it comes to like the older crowd, they're a little weird, but all the younger people in Japan, they're super open to me being black, things like that, right? So I think it's super cool to see that.
So we covered you have told me your rise in competitive gaming with your competitive work ethic. You told me about your content creator and commentary work ethic. You've told me about living in New York, a little bit about living in California, and what that's been like as an experience for you. Let me see, where have we not gone yet? We haven't. Have you? It's hard to say here because I unfortunately it's hard for me to really get some good questions right now because I know you so well. So it's like I'm trying to think here. What do I not already know about you, and or what do I not already know about the Smash community? There's two things I know a lot about here. So it's like I'm trying to think here. Where can we go from here about the Black experience? Is there something that comes to mind for you right now?
I actually never got a chance to talk about me living in California yet, just
Oh,
like my New York experience.
yo.
But yeah, like the only thing I mentioned was just like living in California as a black person. um, was actually it was actually pretty dope. Like, right, I moved in with Sky Williams, Zero, Mewtwo King, and a whole bunch of other smashers. It was actually really cool. We had a gamer house basically. We moved around a couple times. I only moved around with them one time. We moved from like one part of West LA to like the Westchester part of Southern California. And the moment that Sky wanted to move down to the area of another area in SoCal that was further away from West LA, that's when I decided to move out, and I moved in with Frodan, where we were both Twitch staff members and commentators at the same time. So I thought it was like the perfect bachelor pad, right? Two guys who basically work the same job and we're also commentators. So we're barely going to be home. It's going to be like a pristine, clean house. Fridge is barely going to be filled because all we're going to do is order out or just go out to eat. Like that's literally the lifestyle of a commentator. It's almost similar to like a kind of like, especially if you're in high demand, it's like a rock star lifestyle where you every weekend you're just leaving, which is why at first I was like super irregular with like content creation because so many people were hiring me for gigs. So I was if I wanted to stream, it would be like a Monday to like a Wednesday thing, and then Thursday morning I'd fly out land Monday morning and back on the grind. And while I was doing that, I was also juggling working at Twitch. So it's really hard to be a streamer and a staff member and a commentator. So I had to weigh which one I liked the most, right, out of all of them. And it was, it's definitely an amazing time working at Twitch. So 5 years strong. I
Wow.
got to help a lot of great content creators in the Smash community grow like exponentially, giving them opportunities to get good promotion. And like we've done a lot of different things to help like activate them, to help them become big successes. Before Ludwig got turned into like super huge Ludwig, like I used to manage him as well at Twitch. I managed Naira, I managed Zero, I managed like so many of these guys, and VG Bootcamp, etc. So like behind the scenes, anytime they had any issues, they would always come to me like immediately. They'd be like, "Yo, D1, I need this. D1, I need that," and I was right there on speed dial, always willing to help the homies. But at some point, I just really wanted to start doing more content, challenging myself. I remember that conversation we had going to PAX West when we were on the train, and seeing that, I was like, you know what, I like this a lot. I love the fact that there are people out there that want to support my streams. They want me to continue to create better content. They know what I'm capable of, and they're willing to give me feedback on how to be better. So I'm gonna still work with these guys, no matter how hard the road is. Because I know a lot of people are like, when it comes to content, even if like, a lot of people may know you on like social media, right? You might have like a big Twitter following, you might have a big Instagram following. That doesn't always translate into you being a content creator that has a lot of people wanting to sit down and invest time with you, invest time on you for like I don't know, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, sometimes even 7 or 8 hours at a time, right? It can be tough. It's an investment for sure. So um, yeah, I saw that as another challenge that I wanted to tackle. So I decided to tackle it, straight on. And it's been so far ever since January of this year, very fun road. But I wanted to go back to the Twitch story just as a staff member. There are a lot of times where people sometimes feel that, oh, because of this, that, and the third, that I feel like, oh, only Twitch cares about Black people during February. That's not actually the case. As a person that worked at Twitch, Twitch literally still has weekly meetings where they have this thing called like the Black Guild, right? They have guilds for all sorts of different things. They had a guild for like the Black community. And the cool thing about that was that you had people who are Black that are in there, and not only Black people, but also people who are from like not only just Black people, but POCs in general. And not even POCs, but we'd also have white people that are in there. All sorts of people that want to understand perspectives. They're like, my life is this way. I don't understand how your life is. I want to understand better. And in turn, this could help us understand our broadcasters better. So like, even though they may not advertise all that stuff, Twitch actually does care about that stuff, dude. And it's so cool to know that they're still invested in things like that. Like they even hooked me up. Let me show you. Let me show you this exclusive,
Ooh.
just to show you, like, in case you guys think I'm blowing smoke out of my. Give me a second.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
That's so sick, dude.
That is
That is
sick,
so
dude.
sick. So yeah, basically they proof. Like, they really do support all the members of that group. Like all the members of that group got that sweater, bro. And when I saw that, I was like, damn, dude, they really they really care, man. But beyond just the sweater, just like they've gone above and beyond many times to just talk about all the issues and ways we could help better things even beyond the month of February, right? And again, these are things that people probably may not see immediately, but there are always talks. One thing about these businesses that people sometimes don't realize is that you can get feedback, but if we get the feedback, you don't just like, it's hard to just immediately immediately execute on something until you get a whole bunch of approvals, right? And you have to figure out the right way to execute on a process, and that can take meetings sometimes. So um for people out there that sometimes feel like Twitch is not listening, they when it comes to like POCs, they definitely are, and they're trying to do their best, to continue to improve the landscape for sure.
Absolutely. There has been at least one time where the Smash community, it might have been the peak of Brawl versus PM versus Melee. It might have been 2013 when it was more grassroots than esports. It might have been after the Evo fundraiser. It might have been whenever it was like, well, shit, this is it, dude. Skullgirl's gonna bop us. We're not gonna be the 9th game of Evo this year. Yada yada yada. I don't remember when it was, but it's whenever the back was against the wall. The voice of reason D1 came out and was like, and you just sang to the choir, and like everything kind of like the tensions kind of calmed down, and the Smash community is all unified over something. It might have been like bigotry in the community. Might have been some reports of like sexual harassment / assault. I forget what controversy it was at the time here, but I recall you rising up and it was like, yo, bless up, D1's on D1. It's like the bat signal. It was like, D1. The bat signal came out, and then you just popped up and like, pow, that was it. It was done. Everyone knew not to piss you off because they all knew that, you got to make dad proud. Dad has the community looking really good right now, so we can't mess it up for him here. So we got to rise up and unify on whatever thing it was. Forgive me, I don't remember what it was at this point, but you that's you, son. That's you. That's you.
Thank you. I share this story with like members of my community when it comes to like my streaming, but I don't know if a lot of people know this. When I decided to start casting more games outside of Melee, especially like Smash 4, right? And like PM and all that stuff. One of the reasons why I really did that was because I wasn't the biggest fan of seeing the elitism that I saw in Melee. And I wanted people like, I'm not saying every single person in Melee was an elitist, but there are definitely a lot of people that who they love their game so much that if you're not playing their game and you're playing another kind of Smash game that's not exactly Melee, you're not cool or anything like that. You're not deserving of praise. And when I saw that, I was like, dang, it sucks to see like there aren't that many loud voices from that community. And I want to be able to be one of those people that lends their voice to that community, to show like, hey, even this community can have stars in there that we can appreciate. And like with Smash 4, we got to see like the rise of Zero Nairo and many other amazing players like Void, right? Mr. R, and the list goes on. There's like greats from all over the world, Japan, Europe, just you name it, right? Like people just from all around the world became stars in that game, and even more so in Ultimate, to the point where back then when Ultimate first came out, people were wondering like, oh, if we're gonna have Ultimate events, like, oh, will the Melee people be a part of it? Oh, Melee guys should probably be a part of it. And when I heard that, I was like, man, we're not reliant on having anybody be a part of it. As long as the game is fun and there are people that are lovable personalities in there, whether they're old or new, the community is going to be in good hands. And I know in the beginning they had some Melee guys that were playing, but then when some of them decided not to play as much, it didn't even matter to the people who are fans of the game because they still love the personalities. We have people now like MKLeo, who people love a lot. Sam Sora, super funny guy. Void, lovable, humble guy. At the end of the day, Nairo, super entertaining, right? Like just like his gameplay. I'm super happy to see that these guys who at first in Smash 4, when they were stars and people were like, who? Now it's like who they are. Even if they're not playing Melee, you still love them and you still find them entertaining. Whereas, like when it came to Smash 4, it was still kind of a transitionary period where people were like, "Oh, this is another brawl. All right, I guess this is kind of cool." Then they started seeing certain other things, and they're like, but it's not really my cup of tea." Then Ultimate comes out, and some more people started to warm up to it from outside of the Ultimate loving camp. But for those that didn't like the game, at least they appreciated the players way more. And I've seen way less bashing, of like the players that play it. It's like, okay, if you guys like the game, you guys like the game. Like they may not like the game. You could still see some people who are like, oh, I don't like this game, whatever. I'm not going to play. But they're a vocal minority at the end of the day. And we can't give them power over us, you know? Like if we like something, never let them take that love away from you. I think there's some people out there who sadly just they're hurting. Life for them is not that it's probably not the best for them, and the only way that they can feel good is by bringing others down to their level of sadness, their level of self-deprecation. So in order for them to feel better, they always have to hate on others to make others feel bad about loving certain things. But you keep on loving. If you love whatever it is that you love and people want to clown you for that, Don't let them stop you from loving. Be happy. You deserve to be happy. We only have a finite amount of time on this planet. Why should we let people take that love away from us, right? So, to circle that back to BLM, same thing. Same thing goes, right? Try to understand that when it comes to this kind of movement too, to not let that beget hatred to other people. Like, so there's certain times where I see when this happens, people will want to start to incite hatred among others, like, well, yeah, what about these communities that are coming in, trying to take money from black people, all these shops and whatnot, and these are not even white, black owned shops. Don't support them, only support black owned. And I'm like, calm down, wait. Like, I understand that you're trying to get more people to want to support black owned businesses, but you don't have to tear down other people. Like, there's no need for that, dog. Like, well, why are we doing this? You could just tell people, hey, support black owned businesses, while not trying to actively get people to boycott other businesses that aren't black. Like, what's the point of that? We're only trying to create more division at the end of the day when it comes to that. Instead, raise awareness that there are black businesses and tell people to go enjoy it. You don't have to bash something. There's no need for any of that. So, yeah, screw the entitlement, screw the gatekeeping, and just love each other. Like, with this whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole reason that we're trying to talk about it is because at the end of the day, once everybody understands that Black Lives Matter, we can get to the conversation of the All Lives Matter conversation, right? But
Mhm.
it's step by step. It's step by step. I mean, there's a whole bunch of crazy things that are happening in the world for sure. I heard, like, from one of my friends, that apparently there's like Muslims or in concentration camps in China or something like that. Did you hear about that?
In China? No, I didn't hear about that. No.
Well, I'll try to expound. I had a friend who worked at Shack News. I did a what was it? Yeah, there it is. See, they got it. The chat got it. Yeah, the try Hex, check that out on your free time. I don't want to take
No,
I don't want
I will. I
I
wasn't
want you to,
aware.
yeah, feel free to do research on that, but it's not okay. So yeah, like, there's some crazy stuff happening around the world, and we definitely need to see, like, more justice for people of color at the end of the day, man. Like, it's definitely not okay. So yeah, sorry, man. My ears just got really hot because I got upset, but I'm cool.
You're
Thanks
cool.
for having
No,
me. Yeah, up, man.
absolutely, dude.
I just
Um,
got,
Actually, there was a question I wanted to answer earlier, before we go, and that I wanted to answer with you here because it was maybe I'd like to hear your answer for it as well here. Soul Ninja asked earlier, how does Blackness rank in terms of your form, in terms of how you form your identity along with being a gamer slash American slash etc. How does Blackness rank in terms of how you form your identity? And if I'll go first on that one. So the thing here, whenever I'm describing that as, like, I want to normalize blackness, everyone, it's more that I wanted everyone who is not familiar with the black experience to listen and understand what it's like, because it may not be, there are some things they may not be aware of that black people have to be very considerate of ultimately here. um and so with that in mind, like I was saying before here, for example, like, I can't just play Yu-Gi-Oh and be a great Yu-Gi-Oh player or whatever because I was the only black kid playing Yu-Gi-Oh. The onus was on my responsibility now to understand, like, being isolated for playing Yu-Gi-Oh meant that I created animosity with the other black kids because I was, quote unquote, doing a white activity, or I hung around a bunch of white friends and made the black kids jealous, or I don't know, whatever, because of that. um let me think here. What else here? I don't know. The music I consumed wasn't black enough. The activities I did weren't black enough. That way I spoke wasn't black enough. It just, if I had $1 for every critique I had about, like, being called white Mike and being called a tight ass, it was actually insane. So these are all things that maybe not exclusive to being to particularly the isolation of such for me, but I thought y'all would want to know what that was like for me. Being a black content creator I think hits a little bit different because it goes back here to the whole, like, diversity quotas at times where they can hurt you or help you. Sure, maybe give a voice to those who are silenced, but at the same time here, is your content delegitimized because of the the mandate for there to be, you know, representation amongst minorities and things like that. It gets complicated, and it's really, the answer is there's not really one answer. It's conditional. It's contextual. So I that's what I'm here to do right now. Help normalize that blackness in whatever way it can be. So
Yeah.
with that, I pass the mic over to you, D1. How does blackness rank in terms of how you form your identity? You've already kind of answered it before, but I figured maybe you
Yeah, I feel like I might have answered it before, but I could try to see if I can get back to it. It's a very nuanced answer, right? Like for me, if you remember, um, like anything that I liked, I never gravitated towards anything because of the kind of people that were into it. If it attracted me, then I would gravitate towards it, right? It would be like a magnetic pull. If I heard music or played a game, whatever, I would get drawn to it, right? Like if there was a girl that I liked, regardless of the way, like, you know, of the color of her skin, like that was it. It wasn't like I never would be like, oh, a girl is black, I wouldn't like her. Oh, a girl is white, I wouldn't like her. Oh, a girl is this, that, and the third, like brown, you know, I wouldn't like her. At the end of the day, like if it's just a really cool person that I was interested in, then I would be like more attracted to them. And I don't know. I don't think I was the type that ever really factored in blackness much growing up. Because you remember, I admitted to being a person who never really had those kind of conversations with my parents, and only a few times I would have like situations where I would feel like, man, was that racist? Like, you know, or that was racist, right? Things like that. But other than that, you know, it wasn't like a everyday thing in my life. And I just continued to try to live on that straight path, you know? So I don't feel like it ranks too highly for me, but I do know that it is important that I understand my identity as a black man and the importance in that, right? Like that's important to not just throw away the fact that I am black or the fact that my parents were born in Haiti, right? Which would make me a Haitian American, right? At the end of the day, sac passe to all my Haitians in the chat if you guys are watching. But yeah, dude, like uh, I, I think at the end of the day, I just wanted to be a good person and to be a good example for others. And if I am a person that someone can relate to because of the fact that we're both black and I will inspire them to do good, that makes me happy at the end of the day. But as far as growing up, when it came to my decision making and all my just like whatever I did, I never factored in, oh, I'm black before I made the decision, you know? Like the only time I've only like had to realize that I was black when people would try to say I seemed white. Oh, because of the way I talked, or actually, interestingly enough, I just realized this trihex. So
oh,
recently when I started uploading pictures on Instagram about me hanging out with all my friends. And the friends that I hang out outside of like gaming, that I hang out with a lot, most of them are Asian, right? And I
right.
never even realized that most of them were Asian. It was a Instagram post where they mentioned, "Yo, how come you only hanging out with like Asian girls and all this stuff?" And I was like, I'm definitely not just willingly only going, oh, she's Asian, I'm gonna hang out with her. It's like if I have friends that want to hang out and we just so happen to take a picture, bam. Like I definitely have pictures on my Instagram with me taking pictures with black girls, with white guys, black guys, you know, brown people, just people of all different colors and backgrounds. Like, you know, I never consciously made the decision to go, oh, I only like these group of people to hang out with, or oh, I'm hanging out too much with this group of people. Let me stop because I need to go find some other black people to hang out with. If people are free to hang out and you're my friend, we're gonna hang. I'm not gonna, you know, pull the whole like Disney Channel, you know, and be like, well, for tonight, it looks like we're gonna have one brown person, one Asian person. We're gonna get one white person. We also got to make sure we get at least one member of the LGBTQIA plus community. I mean, you know, June's coming up. We gotta look good, you know, especially for the gram. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna do that, bro. Like at the end of the day, if you are whatever you are and you chilling with me, we out. That's it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, let's check off the list real quick. All right. I'm not gonna do that. Get the heck out of here. So when people come at my neck and try to
Mhm.
ask why it looks like I hang out with certain people, or if other people go, "Oh, you have a black friend, whatever like that." They're like, "No, he's my friend." Like there's no black friend. This is my friend, and I love the fact that I have people in my corner like that, where it's they don't try to act like, "Oh, now I have a black friend since we're homies and stuff like that." Instead they see me as a person, and they do understand the importance of seeing my color, but they're not gonna just categorize me as the black friend, and now because of this, they have the okay to say the N word. No, what I'm saying, like, calm down. So
Heard that, bro. Good, great stuff, man. You hit up. Okay, so there was like, I feel like I did a bad job here because like you brought the Haitian parents. I completely forgot about that. I could have dug further on that one. That would have been some great lore, some great D1 lore. No, we'll save it for another time because that one I'm like, oh man, that would have been cool to talk about. But the one I do want to talk about though, I won't talk about both obviously, but like the one that I'm like, oh man, I can exchange with you on is you brought up the when you're reminded of your race, y'all. That's something that I feel is part of the black experience, unfortunately. And let me tell you, I've been there where it's like I never looked at race as like, ooh, I want to, man, I want to date her, bro. And she a redhead. I want that. I want that. No, it was like, yeah, personality and compatibility is always what I went with first. Because I wasn't insane or whatever, right? And the whole thing here also just wasn't a great selection of girls who were also into the things I was into, anime, manga, DBZ, whatever. And so whenever that compatibility did come along, it was rarely black girls because of geographically where I grew up in Louisiana. So when it happens, y'all, there's nothing more disheartening than like being told from a white girl, sorry, I can't date you. My dad would be upset. Now, this is not one. This is multiple girls did this to me throughout high school. And the thing about that is like, D1, I want you to imagine here. Imagine, right? For a girl to just flat out shoot you down when you shoot your shot. How racist must the parents or the father be at the house for the girl to know preemptively? Never brought me there. Never even just to talk, whatever, right? Just to get the phone number, whatever it may be here. How overtly racist must one be for the daughter to know at like age 15, 16 that, sorry, my dad's a huge bigot. He's not gonna be cool with this at all. Ain't no interracial happening around here.
yeah, dude, it's I've definitely had that happen even before ever entertaining the idea of trying to even holler at said chick. Like, they would just say it. It's so bad that they're trying to sow those seeds so early into their children, man. It's like, because that only will just make the cycle continue, right? Of racism. Like you could instead just like totally let the child do as they please, instead of trying to inculcate in them the fact that, hey, if they are of a certain skin tone, they're not right for you because of whatever kind of stereotypes or I just won't accept it. And then that all that will do is in their head make them think, all right, these are the undesirables. Stay away from them. Avert your gaze when they look at you. God dang it, man. And that, you know what that does to you as a person of color who hears that? That makes you just think you are undeserving of love. That makes you think that, all right, well, crap, I didn't control me looking the way I look, but I guess people just don't like the way I look. Like, what should I do? Should I be like Michael Jackson? Should I bleach my skin? Should I straighten out my hair? Like, what's gonna make people want to actually look at me? Because I am already a good person, but because of my skin, because of my hair, whatever, and the stereotypes tied with it, I'm not a good person. Okay, well, that hurts. So
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts, and it's like it. I don't know. It feels like it's not just rejection. It's like I don't know how to put it here because it hits differently. It's like a self-worth evaluation. Like, damn, am I really like, am I not worth it? I don't know. It hit me really hard. That one hit me hard, and I was like, damn, dude, this sucks. This really sucks. It I guess you know what it feels like? Maybe it's because like for our parents and our grandparents, they had to like live through like segments of segregation. And here you got a sample of like what that really feels like. That exclusion when it had that exclusion based on a factor beyond your control and irrelevant of your own choices and character. And it's just like, damn, dude. Really? Like that's there's no I'm already at the point of rejection. There's no redemption I can do here. Well, like what the fuck, dude? So I don't know. Yeah, that I just you brought up here. I kind of forgot about that little part there. So that's like something I always hits me kind of like, damn. You don't when you don't want to make things racial, but they end up becoming racial even when you don't want them to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like when you like, I think one of the most annoying things that I've dealt with, I think I mentioned this already, is when you just hear a person, when you're not even entertaining the thought of dating them, you just hear them say out loud, "Oh, I only date this group. I only date this group." Um, and they'd be like, "Well, if I were to maybe date a black guy, maybe I feel like you'd be like a really good black guy, but at the same time, my parents, yeah, but I feel like you're a great guy though." And then I would hear that, and I'm like, what? Like, I thought we're just homies, you know what I'm saying? And then you'd hear stuff like that, and it's like, don't tell me that stuff. Like, like that's you actually need to be better. Like, that's so weird, you know? That's so weird. It's like, what did the parents teach them, bro?
absolutely. Thank you for that, D1. Thank you for that.
Problem, man. No problem. I think
Oh,
this was an incredibly, this was a really good chat. Overall, I there's so many different things that I feel like we could talk about because we've been homies for such a long time. But if ever you would like to have the homie back on again in the future, please hit me up. I'll make the time because I'm definitely willing to share the love with everybody else. And to also give different perspectives because we all have different perspectives, right? There's some of us who probably didn't go through as many like racist acts as others, and some who probably dealt with a lot. Some maybe probably dealt with situations where they felt uncomfortable in the workplace because of their differences and all that. But at the end of the day, never let that make you feel like you don't matter, that you should stop trying, or that you're undesirable, or that your voice doesn't need to be heard. All our voices need to be heard. And you guys are all deserving of success. Keep fighting hard to prove to the rest of humanity that we actually can be morally upstanding contributors to society despite the way we were born. That was out of our control, but what can we control? Being uh, uh, being a great contributor to society, and you just got to give us a chance. And that's it, man. Black Lives Matter.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, man, okay. Well, it's okay. This is a topic I hope you do want to indulge a little bit on here. So, because this is the last topic I want to go into before the outro, and it's a topic that I know you want to talk about, and that is, so you've been a commentator for a minute. You've been working at Twitch as a Smash relations manager or whatever it's called for 5 years now. You're now all the way in. You're neck deep, not waist deep. You are neck deep as a full-time content creator. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What is your ambition now? What are you wanting to do now that you're a full-time content creator, Twitch streamer, content powerhouse? What's the ambition? Because I know you are quite the ambitious person here. Sell me on
Yeah.
it. What's on the radar for you, bro?
Okay. So let's see. First and foremost, low key, I've been talking to some friends about this already on my stream and personally, but your boy's been doing some digging to potentially get into the realm of voice acting. We'll
What?
see.
Oh, wait.
It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, some training. But if that could ever happen, you guys heard it here first. I'm working on it. That'll be dope. That'll be dope. I'm trying to do as much research as possible. Yesterday, I got a chance to be on a really cool Zoom call with Dora Fine. If you guys know who Dora Fine is, absolutely amazing voice actress. Feel free to check her out on Google if you don't know who she is, but she's super sick. And it was like me and a bunch of other aspiring voice actors who were in the call, and we heard a lot of different tips and things that one needs to be aware of when it comes to the realm of VO. So it's not going to be a speedy process, but I'm learning. I'm trying to see when that will happen, and if I do manage to actually make it into the scene, I'll thank all you guys for cheering me on along the path, along the way. Other than that, like when it comes to my content, I used to spend so much time, Trihex, on streaming just competitive Smash, where it's to the point now where my streams are me playing whatever kind of games are out there. But while I'm playing those games, if people want to have real talk sessions, they want to talk about anything, ask me anything, I'm there like an open book, willing to talk to you about whatever it is that you want to learn about, things that you want to know about me, about commentary, about Smash. Um, on the other hand, for me, when I'm playing these games, one of the reasons why I'm playing a lot of different games nowadays is because I want to know more about the gems of the video game industry, right? Like I want to understand like why do are there people that love Tomb Raider, Metal Gear, the Final Fantasy series? Because I grew up as a Nintendo kid, so I used to stream a lot of Nintendo games, and I still do. But there are times where I'll hop into a different realm. I'll play a different genre and see like why do people like this genre? Maybe will I like it, or will I not? What's my take on it? Like I just want to have like a good time with the rest of the members of the stream. And sometimes we even have moments where we let the members of the stream like vote on games that we have. So I'm definitely variety, and variety can be tough for some, but it's variety with like a different twist, right? It's like it's variety, but you're still having the opportunity to chat and talk to me about real talk subjects whenever you want. Never feel like just because I'm playing a game and I'm try harding and trying to beat a super boss that I'm not willing to pause, set aside time to talk about a subject that I think is near and dear to my heart. So yeah, please feel free to hang out if ever you guys want to. As far as my YouTube is concerned, I think I want to start trying to cater that more to relevant community topics. Of course, with COVID, the only thing people really talk about nowadays are like Wi-Fi events. But I want, and Sonic. But yeah, I'm just trying to find as many different things to talk about while also trying to make it different from like my boy Zero, because Zero's already killing it when it comes to talking about relevant topics as well. So I want to see like my different way, because I'm still a little. I feel like when it comes to my YouTube, that's been on pause for a little bit because I want to go beyond just having like Twitch highlights.
Yeah, you want
Um,
that organic content that's for YouTube.
yeah, yeah,
And we
and
we we, we all do. It's ooh man, you got to push out though that one. That's like the Twitch streaming and the full throttle on YouTube. That's a whole day right there. That's like all the time. But I know you
that's
can do it. The last question, sir, on your outro is: so you told me in principle what you got going on, as far as your content creation pursuits now. Now, what you got going on? Give these people a reason to tune into your channel this week. What you got going on this week? You feel me?
so
With
so
all
let's
this
see.
black excellent content.
So this week, ladies and gentlemen, I am currently playing Final Fantasy 15 with all of the DLC. You don't need to ask if it's Royal Edition or anything of the sort. But yeah, I just dipped my foot into the pool of Final Fantasy games, like the proper Final Fantasy games, and we played Final Fantasy VII Remake, we played the OG, and now I'm getting into the realm of 15. I have yet to try 6, 8, 9, etc., all those others, but it seems like we're going down the road of just like JRPGs right now. After that, I'm gonna try the critically acclaimed Sora no Kiseki or Legend of Heroes Trails. I don't know if that's the same name. Franchise. It's really popular in Japan. It's super popular there, and I heard it's also really well loved. So the plan is, if you guys don't know, when it comes to my broadcast, I just play a myriad of games, and there are times where we sometimes even do Reddit recaps. Where if people want to like hop into my Reddit, I have a Reddit as well. I don't know if that's okay to promote, but
Oh,
reddit.com/.
hey,
If
this
you
is
guys
you. I
feel
appreciate you coming through. Please plug yourself.
feel free to just hop in there, throw whatever questions you ever have for me, things that you want me to talk about on my stream. when my stream starts, I can like hop in there and like before we get into the game, we can like have like maybe like 30 minutes to an hour where we talk about relevant topics that you think should be touched on, memes, relevant topics, etc., etc. Feel free. Feel free. I just started going full time with content creation just in January. So it's been really, really good to see like the progress that has been made in such a short time. We just made the Reddit recently. So yeah, feel free if you guys want to hang out. And I appreciate you guys for just being happy that I'm here with Trihex. Like I saw you guys saying DT podcast, DT podcast. Yeah, man, if ever Trihex wants the homie to come through and just like, you know, just like chat and talk about things that matter to not only us but also you, the viewer. Yeah, man, feel free to invite me on anytime, Trihex. You're a homie first, and because of that, I put you first
Oh, thank you, baby.
so much. And to all you guys out there, keep being a force for change. And also remember that no matter what you were born as, that doesn't mean that you aren't destined for success. Keep on thriving. Keep on trying to teach others how to make the world better. And don't ever be discouraged because there are people that don't share your views. Understand that not everyone is always going to share the views that you have. But as long as you are willing to keep taking the initiative to educate others the best way that you can, you will still be a force for change at the end of the day. And we're proud of you for that. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a great night, bro.
You too. Thank you so much, y'all. Peace.
Peace.